Hi everyone, welcome to another video of TOSCA Automation Obstacle Series. Today we are going to take a look at 24499. It's a hard problem, and let's first understand what the problem statement is. So this value, what is being generated here, is dynamic, and after every refresh this is going to change. So we have to fetch this value and we have to put it here. Okay, so if it is triple B, I'll type triple B, and whatever the number of entries are coming, that I have to type it here, and then my problem statement is going to get solved. Okay, now pause this video for a moment, think about the approach, and then watch the remaining video. So we'll get ahead with scanning our application. Now I can scan this page and then type this particular value and get the elements, but a easier way would be that I can type it out and then scan, so I'll be able to scan everything in one go. So that is what I'm trying. If you want, you can scan in different two particular modules as well. So I have fired off my scan. Now let's grab the values or the elements what we need. So I'll click on scan here and I'll click on select on screen, and first we will take this. Okay, then here we need to type the value, so I'll take this input. Okay, and maybe I'll take this and I'll take this and I'll take this as well, and then we have to put this value here, so I'll select this value. Okay, that's all what we need. Let me just maximize this and first check the properties. Okay, so in the first element, since we know that this value is dynamic, we will not choose any property which is getting identified using that particular. So here you see inner text is taking triple C, so I'll remove this, and still our item is unique, so we are good. I will just change this to maybe capture value. Okay, now in the second section we have to input the value here. Now we see that it is taking tag input and it is unique, so maybe I don't need the parent character here. Okay, so we'll see if we can get something else. So class name, let me see if I select this class name. Okay, it is becoming unique. Okay, now coming to this li element, I have taken two elements inside this. These two elements I have taken just to see what difference is there and how we can get it. Okay, so in the first element, if we see, it is taking id and tag, in which the id is select to autocomplete something, and if I go to second element, it is taking id and then the tag li. Okay, in which set autocomplete and then something else is changing. Okay, now if I want to understand this, what I'll do is I'll go into notepad and I'll type this out. Now this is the second element, so I will go to the first element and copy and see what changes are there. Okay, where exactly the text is changing. Okay, so I'll put it here. Now let me maximize this. So we see select to autocomplete result is same, but this particular portion is changing. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll remove this and I'll put a wildcard here so that it is able to handle any value which is coming. Okay, so let me copy this and let me close this, and I will paste it in the first place. Okay, and I'll click on OK. We'll see if it is still unique. Okay, it is not unique, so even that does not matter, because we would like to capture whatever elements are coming, and we will try to fetch the count of that value using a property called result count in TOSCA. So let's see first if it works or not, and we will rescan or uh, reevaluate this later. Okay, so we have successfully captured our scanning. Now let me move this to the test cases section and get started with this. Okay, so our first task is to capture the value whatever is coming here. Okay, so what I'll do is I will set the action mode to buffer and I will put any value here. Okay, so let's say value. Okay, now we'll quickly run this and see if it is working or not. Okay, so the idea to showcase this is so that we are able to solve the problem one step at a time and fix it accordingly. Now this is going to give issue. I've tried this out before making this video, but I'll explain you why that is happening. Okay, so here you will see in the error, if I expand this, container has no default property. So this I have mentioned in my previous videos as well. if we get something like this, we have to specifically call out what property from which we are trying to fetch the value. So when we were scanning this, we noticed that inner text was capturing it. Okay, now very quick fixes, you click on this and you supply the attribute which is capturing your value. Okay, now you can use anything else as well, any other module attribute property which is basically fetching the value you want to fetch. Okay, so now it should work and it should be able to fetch the value triple C. Okay. Once this is working, then we'll move to the next step. Okay, so this is successful. Now we'll just validate it in the scratch book if it has captured the right value or not. So if I expand this, you see buffer with the name value has been set to triple C. So we are good. Now our next step is we have to put this value in this particular section. Okay, so this is our input section and we will just pass the buffer. Okay, so I'll just pass capital B and whatever is the buffer name we have created before. Okay, now I'll just do it try again so that another value is coming, and this is in the initial state, so it is triple D. Now let's see if it is actually putting the value correctly or not. Okay, now again we are going to run into a problem. I'll showcase you how to resolve that. So whenever we work with elements similar like this, in which we have to type something out and we have to get the value, what happens is, what is happening right now is it is copying everything and it is pasting here. Okay, instead of that, if I do it like manually like this D D D, then what will happen is all the options get searched and displayed accordingly. Okay, so a easier way to fix is, what we'll do is we can either use send keys here. Okay, now what happens when we use send keys is, every element whatever is part of that buffer or whatever string we are passing, each and every element is going to go one by one. So what will happen in this case, one D will go, then second D will go, and then the third D will go. So it will give you all the options correctly. Okay, if you do not want to use send keys, there's something called text input as well in case of TOSCA, which you can use. Okay, so let's run this and see if we are able to solve our second problem statement or not. Okay, so it is capturing the value. Now it is going to put it here in this second section. Okay, so see, now we are able to get the value correctly. Okay, now the third part is, now we want to count how many number of options are coming. Okay, now we don't have to worry much about that in case of TOSCA, because we have a inbuilt property which is called as result count. Okay, so we can use result count to find the repetition of a certain element happening again and again. Okay, now how do we use that is, this is the element. Okay, so what I'll do is I will do a buffer, because we want to fetch the count and we have to place it here. Okay, and here what I'll do is I'll click on this and here I'll type result count. Okay, make sure you're using the same spelling as I'm typing it out here. Okay, and maybe what we'll do is, for the time being, I'll disable this, because we'll just try to see if it is working or not, or if we need to work on it or fix it. Okay, so let's run this and this should capture the value 5 out of it. Okay, so I will let this run. Okay, so this is successful, but let's see if it has captured the right value or not. Okay, so let me do this, and this value has been set to 5. Okay, so we are done with our second last problem statement. Okay, so I'll just disable this. Okay, now this is the last thing which we need to mention or enter. Okay, now what you can do is you can create one more step, or you can go to your module. Okay, and you can change the structuring. Okay, whatever way you want to manage it. So I'll just drag this here. Okay, this I need to do it from module side, and that is going to automatically reflect here. Okay, now this is the buffer value, so I will just pass that value here, curly brackets B li, close and close this. Okay, now we will run this. Li has already stored the buffer value 5, so it should automatically come and put that entry in the last text box, get the entry count and enter here. Okay, we are again going to run into one smaller issue which we are going to take a look at. Okay, so it is entering the value 5, but how this page has been designed is, if you are entering this value, it should give us the page that this automation problem is solved. However, we are not getting that. Now what is happening, or what issue is happening here is, when we enter this value, it is not basically triggering the output, or the application is not able to understand that the value entered is correct, or it is not able to read that. Okay, now there are two ways to fix that. One is, I can pass this using send keys, so it will go and type only one value and it should be able to detect it. Otherwise, you can change the fire event to input as well. Okay, so whatever way we want to try. So let's try with fire event. So I'll jump to the module attribute, and here you say fire event is change. So what I'll do is, I'll move this and I'll type it input here. Okay, and I will go back to my test case and I'll just try to run this. Let me just remove this value 5 here. Okay, and let's see if it works. And once it works, then we are going to enable all the steps and try end-to-end execution and see if we are running into any timing issues which we have to fix, and we'll fix it accordingly. And you see, now we are able to get this pop-up. Okay, so I'll click on let me try again, and in case you do not want to change the fire event, you can pass send keys in front of this the same way we have done here. Okay, now let me enable this and we'll try to run this script and see how it performs. Okay, so it is in its initial state. So first it will fetch the value triple E, it will type it out in the second section, it will count and it will put the counter value there. Okay, so our problem statement is solved. If you want, we can just do one more try just to see if, okay, it is still coming triple E. So let me click on try again. Now triple A is coming. I'll just try it out just to make sure it is working in all the different conditions. So here the main key takeaway is, we can use result count property to fetch the number of iterations, and we might run into issues in which just copy pasting the value might not work. So we can use send keys, or we can use fire event in those cases. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. I have a lot of videos on the obstacle as well as a lot of videos on TOSCA. So do like, share and subscribe my channel. And thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye bye.